So I'm planning a chill, instructive stream today. I'll hop in the tournament once it starts. And I also have the tab open for US Championships. I have this game between Shankland and Neiman. I think Hans's time disappeared after Queen B6. It looks like Shankland is a more prepared player. Blitzed out the whole opening. Although this is weird. Yeah, I don't know how accurate the times are here. Shankland went from an hour and 23 minutes to an hour and 34 minutes after Queen C1. But maybe they're accurate now, or at least this time. Still theory? No Masters games. Couple games on Lichess. I'm just scanning through the other games. This is a weird opening. Wesley So against Oparin. It started as a Queen's Gambit declined. And then Oparin violated opening principles, starting with a6, takes, bishop f4, and then c5. So black was neglecting developing pieces. And Wesley, with the white pieces, is ahead in development. But I guess black is still doing fine. Oh, wait, I think a game started. Okay, a game started. So no more watching US Champs. First game of the stream, playing an FM. I'll play c5. Over the course of this tournament, I'll probably take some opening recommendations. For this game, I'll just kind of do my own thing. Looks like white is going for a King's Indian attack. I'll play d5 and knight f6. I haven't looked at the theory here in a while. I'm kind of wondering about queen c7 to discourage e5. Yeah, let's start with queen c7. We'll probably see rook e1. e5 might still be coming. Yeah, this could lead into a typical King's Indian attack structure. Queen e2, b5. I'll just play the moves quickly. Knight f1 is likely coming. c3. So this does prevent knight d4. B4 looks like one option. Yeah, I'll try and keep the pace here. I guess there's b4, c4. Knight b6. I think that's okay. a5 comes to mind. I mean, usually the strategy in such positions is to try and make threats on the queen side. Try and induce some weaknesses in white's setup. White's plan is to try and attack eventually on the king side. So I'm not entirely sure what I should be doing here. Like a5, maybe a5, a4, a3. I think it's a useful move in general to throw in. Yeah, welcome to more people. I'm going to try and stay focused in this first game. Playing a strong opponent. Between games, I'll address questions in chat. Be a bit more interactive. So knight g5. Knight g5 is not really a threat. Bishop g5. I'm going to play bishop a6 here. Aligning with the queen. Okay, white continues to do things. So now it's a question, do I want to prevent h6 by playing h6 myself? I mean, if h6, g6, I don't think that's so bad. I mean, there's bishop g5, we trade. I'm just going to play a4. Sometimes the drawback of h6 is g4, g5. Okay, a3. So maybe take some knight a5 to b3. Yeah, white's playing really quickly. I'm trying to match the pace. Knight b3 is possible. Rook b8 first. Kind of like starting with rook b8. I don't think there's any way for white to exploit the diagonal with a pawn here. But there is this and then this. So that's perhaps the main idea. rook b3 comes to mind. I'm attacking the pawn. Okay, let's go for this. Thank you, G Broxy. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm down quite a bit of time. But now rook b8. Very double-edged position. Rook b2. Now I'm threatening the queen and threatening knight b3, so I'm expecting this. And then there will be options. I have queen b7 or queen b6. Could maybe take a knight b3. There's also rook b1. I like the idea of getting my queen off this diagonal. And this could lead to a queen trade. If we trade queens, it should be really good for black. So I'll go for this. We might see rook ac1. And if I don't get checkmated, then life should be okay. Okay, so takes. Am I forcing the queen trade? Wait, takes, queen b2. What is white doing? If knight f6 we trade, the inclusion of takes and takes. a3 and c3 are both going to be weak long term. I could also start with taking. I don't think it makes a difference. Might as well start with taking. Oh, a4. Wait, no. a4 is not hanging because I'm hitting the rook. So, I mean, this setup looks scary for white, but maybe scary for me, I should say. But after queen b2, I'm going to see this move, queen d1. And c3 hangs. White could also maybe... Wow, white's going for this. So abandoning the rook. I can take with check. King h2. It does get spicy because both my knights are hanging. I think I have to start with taking. I mean, queen b5. Let's start with this. And what's my follow-up? So I think I need to keep this knight here. Otherwise, knight f6 comes. Yeah, this is going to get really tricky. Bishop b5 maybe. But then takes and white's defending everything. F5 doesn't work. What about queen? Oh, queen d1 can't be played either. So what do I do here? Maybe bishop b5 takes queen d1. f3. Like, there's no counterplay. Bishop b5. I think I have to start with bishop b5. Allow takes. I mean, this is a love triangle. Everything's defended there. Queen d1, f3, queen d3, maybe? Bishop f3, I take on d3. Let's try it. Not super sure about this. But I am double attacking. I'm down about 5 minutes. Yeah, these rapid games still go by pretty quickly. If this knight moves, there's queen h5. Potentially. And queen c7 doesn't like attack anything because, again, this triangle of love. I want to sack a queen, but it doesn't work. Bishop takes d3. Wait, bishop d3 has the threat of bishop f5. If queen c7, I play bishop f5, pinning the knight and attacking the knight. So white doesn't have time for knight f6. We might see f3, but then I take. At the very least, I should have queen a4. I might even have queen d2 to counterattack this knight. But then there's knight f7. Still super tricky. Take. I can play queen a4 first. Taking doesn't work. Okay, so let's say queen d2. Wait, queen d2, knight f7, rook b2? Does that work? Very little time. I think I have to try this. Knight takes f7, rook b2, queen d7, queen g2, king h4, queen h2, king g5, queen d2, king f6. The king's escaping. But then rook f8? I think I'm going to have rook f8 in the end. Insane position. This pawn on h6 prevents knight h6 check. So white doesn't have any like forcing checking sequences because queen d8, knight f8, my king is safe, I think. The bishop's pinned to h2. So I think white's going to have to allow queen takes g2 and then run with the king. So again, the calculation is queen takes d7, queen takes g2, king h4. Maybe queen h1 is better. Queen h1 might be better because then I check on c1. And then I'm not blocking the rook. So if king f6, I play rook f2. And then king e7, I take the knight. If king e6, where's my queen? Oh, wait. Wait, I thought my rook was on f8 in the other line. But it's not. Wait a minute. Queen d7, queen g2, king h4, queen h1, king g5, queen c1, king f6. Then maybe queen f1 after king f6. King goes back, it's mate. And then if king takes e6, I have rook b6. And I'm forcing the king away from defending the knight, and I'll take on f7 with check after this or this. I think it's winning. I'm not 100% sure. Calculation is a little bit shaky. One more time. Takes, king h4, queen h1, king g5, queen c1. The king has to move here, otherwise it's mate. Rook f2. No, not rook f2. Queen f1. Okay, let's just get to queen f1 and rook b6, yeah. Yeah, this is what I was seeing. I didn't calculate this, but then I just take the knight. And I guess there's queen c8, queen f8, queen e6, but then king h8, and there's no more checks. A crazy sequence. White's king is almost like being used as a weapon to checkmate me. Okay, so now I can take. Check there. Yeah, should be fine. Okay. Yeah, it still looks scary, but the queen covers some key squares. I'm threatening this move. Do I play rook b7? Oh, rook b7 doesn't work. Maybe rook b8. I just want to trade queens. Check there. 13 seconds. Should be enough time. Plenty of time. Okay. Oh, that took work. Took a lot of work. Cool game overall. And this is kind of what I sign up for when I play against a King's Indian attack. It's a very double-edged position where, yeah, white is pretty much guaranteed an attack in the middle game. And thankfully I was able to keep the king side under control, break through on the queen side. Thank you, Zindar V. Gurgling Seed says, I think you missed 29 knight takes e5.
Greetings from Mars, which tugs at the human imagination like no other planet.
Oh.
With a force mightier than gravity, it attracts the eye to the shimmering red presence in the clear night sky.
Welcome back, old Walter. Yeah, I didn't consider knight e5, but this... Okay, queen c7 doesn't work because queen takes g4. But knight takes e5 might run into knight f6. And it looks a little bit shaky for black because queen c7 is coming next. And the knights are coordinating. Like if, let's say king h8. I'm defending f7, but after this is attacked, this is attacked. Black's not surviving this. Oh, but black has mating in 1. Oh no, that's not mate. The knight moves backwards. Okay. Maybe I should just look at the engine. Yeah, this should be winning for white. The queen h5 is off limits. Check the engine. Yeah, white's winning. Wow, so... Oh, white was completely winning after bishop e5. We both missed the fact that white has not queen takes a5, but queen f4. My opponent spent 2 seconds on this move. It looks so obvious. But this is one important lesson. Sometimes you should slow down even when it looks like you have an obvious capture. Queen f4 threatens mate. It's actually forced mate in 13. Oh, thank you, Happy Cappy. More bits from Vienna. Wow. Is Vienna loaded with bits? Maybe I should play the Vienna. Yeah, this is not a clean game. Look at this engine graph. Yeah, the evaluation peaked for white. I was in trouble earlier, too. Yeah, I wasn't feeling like I was much worse, but... Wow, so even here, white's much better after the queen trade. Queen takes b2, takes b2, and c4 apparently. I don't really understand. I guess the point is that once this pawn goes away, the knight comes here, and there's a lot of issues with black's position. Knight b3 best move. Second best move, bishop takes c4. What's wrong with this though? D takes c4. I guess, yeah, my king and my back rank a bit weak. So what should I have done in the opening? Engine like c4 here. Going after a3. c4, d4, bishop takes a3. Let's see the final sequence. Wow, white's still better here? I thought I was winning at this point. I play queen f1. Oh, I missed knight d6. I think, again, white was moving too quickly. Maybe also was scared of rook b6. But the king actually finds shelter. Because rook b6, knight d6. And this king is totally safe, and it's my king who is in grave danger. Queen f8 maybe keeps me alive. So king g5 was just a very bad move. Okay, a fun game to start the tournament. There's a question from TiltX. Hey Eric, love the stream. What software do you use to balance your Shure mic? I'm just using OBS. I think Shure has like its own mic software using the Shure MV7, but I'm just using OBS with some gain filter, some limiter, and some noise suppression filter. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Okay, let's keep it going. That was the first game. 2 tournament points, 97th place. Long time since Tennyson or Nachmanson. Should I play a Gambit next game? Or should I play the Vienna? Or do I compromise and play the Vienna Gambit? Oh, Greta Lapie just woke up. Is it Greta Lapie or Greta Lapie? I know I've asked this before. I'm just bad at remembering. Playing Ron. Okay. I'll play e4. Let's see what we get. We have a Caro-Kann. Alien Gambit time. I tried playing Alien Gambit the other day. It didn't go so well. Also, you can't really play the Alien Gambit against Bishop f5. It's only against Knight f6, Knight g5. So I'll go for... What do I go for here? h4? I prepped this about a year ago. Some classical tournament. Oh yeah, Knight f3. So there's some line where White plays h5 and then trades the bishops. I think in this case, pretty sure I can play Knight e5 and then Bishop d3. And I don't have to commit to h5. There's also some like already kind of crazy line. Bishop h7, Bishop d3, Queen takes d4, Knight takes f7. I think that's good for White. Because if King takes, I play Bishop g6 and win the Queen. In the style of the intercontinental ballistic missile attack. And then Bishop d3, Queen takes d4, Knight takes f7, Bishop takes d3, I have Knight takes h8. And yeah, Black's Bishop is in my face, but my King is safe, Queen e5, Bishop e3. The Knight should eventually escape via g6. And I mean, the overall point of this whole sequence is Black's move the bishop 1, 2, 3 times. I've only moved this bishop once. So if we trade bishops, then it's kind of like White's winning a lot of time. Black goes for Knight d7. So allowing this. I think I just take. And Black will either have to take with a knight or the rook. So Black's not castling kingside. There's tension between these knights. I'm thinking Queen e2. As I don't want to allow like takes and then allow the queen trade. So I get my queen off the d file. Maybe at some point I'll queenside castle. I see the comment, Witty Alien found a new gambit against this. I'll have to check his games against Bishop f5. I want to play Knight f5, but there's no reason to. Maybe Bishop f4. I mean, Queen a5 might be coming, then c3. Debating between these bishop moves. Bishop d2 might be a bit more solid. Yeah, this way I'm preventing Queen a5. I want the queenside castle quickly. Ray Clay says 4 great days of I Am Rosen. I have been streaming a bit more consistently lately. I think this month of October is just a heavier content month. I'm not really traveling, so I have more time for Twitch and YouTube. Okay, so knight d5. Yeah, castling queenside looks fine. Always want to keep in mind moves to attack the rook. I guess black wants to play queen c7 and castle queenside. So maybe what I can do is if like this or this, I play c4. And then eventually move the bishop and unleash the d-file. There's actually a line. I was just mentioning tactics involving this rook. There's a line c4. If knight b4 I take, whatever takes back. I guess bishop could take back. I was thinking queen d3, hitting the rook and threatening queen d7. That's still probably good for white. Yeah, I'm going to start with c4. Kick this knight away. And if knight b4, bishop takes b4, queen takes b4, then I have the tactic. Okay, so threatening this and this. Yeah, if the bishop were still here and the queen were here, then this would be a mate threat. But I'm not mating. I mean, rook h8, queen d7, king f8. And then maybe knight e4. Defending, trying to attack.
Gang. Do you even rook lift, bro?
I'll come back to the magician. Haven't rook lifted yet this game. Maybe at some point. Opponent has done some very questionable rook lift. I think I just take the rook. In queen takes g3, I'll be up material. Although, wait a minute, I have this. King f8, rook f1. There is queen e3. I'm going to take a moment here. My king's not in danger. If takes, and queen h8, bishop f8. Could also start with knight e4, but then queen f4 check. There's also this and then this. I definitely have choices. I'm trying to figure out what's the most winning. I don't want to burn all my time. Queen d7, king f8, queen takes b7. I hit the rook. I threatened forced mate. I also threatened to take the bishop with check. So black has no time to take the knight. There's these checks, but then just king b1, and there's no more checks. And then I think I'm guaranteed to take one of these things with check. This is not the first move I considered. I've first looked at this and this and this, but I think this is the cleanest. I'm threatening mate in 2. Queen 8, king e7, and then queen d8 mate. Thank you to Daddy, 38. Happy 3 months. Yeah, I didn't play rook f1 because queen e3 check. And then, although rook f1 maybe first. Maybe rook f1 first could have been better, actually. But here there'd be queen e3 check. Okay, so rook e8. Let's take. Now I'm up a piece. Do I be fancy? Queen e7. I think it might actually be the best move. Oh no, my queen. I have to be extra sure though. Queen e7. There's these check inclusions. But they don't really do anything. Oh no, my queen. Shop.iamrosen.com if you want Oh no, my queen merch. I think you can also go to ohnomyqueen.com and it should redirect to the merch shop. I did buy the domain at some point. And if rook f8, I have rook d8. It's very strange that I can exploit the back rank with a pawn in h6 because there's a rook on h7, taking away the Luft from the black king. It's as if black castled kingside, but didn't actually castle kingside. Oh, does oh no, my queen doesn't work? Wait, let me try. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh no, my domain name. I might have to figure out what's wrong with it. Fix the redirect. Huh. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's game over. Nice game overall. Okay, this is weird. So I think if you type in www.ohnomyqueen.com, it doesn't work. But if you just type in ohnomyqueen.com, it should work. I also just tried with staffordgambit.com. It's another domain I own. And that also redirects to the merch store. But maybe I have to update the settings. It's been a while since I poked around with a domain dashboard. Oh, maybe I have to update the SSL too. Anyway, that was a clean game. Engine says, or Stockfish says 95% accuracy. Queen d7 was inaccurate. I was happy with this when I played it. Yeah, it prefers rook f1. Because then if queen g2, I mate and there's no queen e3 check. Yeah, also sorry for everyone getting timed out from Nightbot. Attempting to share links. Anyway, does anyone know the line that Witty Alien plays against this? Openingtree.com. It's funny, I just went to openingtree.com and the website has the same issue. But for openingtree.com, you have to type in www.openingtree.com. White. So this is openingtree.com. And it's a useful site if you want to take someone's online account and just see their opening tree. Especially for players who maybe play like very interesting, rare openings. Okay, he plays knight d2, takes, bishop f5. Wow, he still plays knight g5 here. Bishop g6. Knight takes h7. That can't... Okay, you only play that once. But he wants to play knight e5, so what if h6? Knight e6! He has 132 games in this. What is this? This is like the Alien Gambit 2nd edition? I'm going to also use the Lichess database. I'm so curious now. So, knight g5. Yeah, bishop g6. I mean, there's already branches here. So what if h6? Uh-oh. Sometimes this will happen with opening tree, where it gets overwhelmed by so many games. And if Witty Alien played 132 games in the position after this, what was it? This. He must have played like tens of thousands of games. Yeah, I think it broke the site. So he just sacks a knight, not even for a pawn. I assume the idea is knight. Oh, maybe bishop d3. Interesting. And after takes, queen g6 is hard to stop. Wait, if h6 is it transposition? Oh, maybe takes. g4 is a funny move. But I guess also knight of 3, knight e5. Let me close this. Oh, almost worked. Okay, I'm going back to Witty Alien. White. I just want to see like his opening strategy here. Bishop f5, knight g5, h6. And he goes for knight f3, bishop c4, e6, g4. Wow. So romantic. Rook g1. Such a crazy style of playing. I feel like anyone who wants to adopt like a super aggressive gambit repertoire, you can just look at Witty Alien's repertoire and copy his openings. Bishop f5. So what if e6? He's still going for this idea. He's still sacking. Queen h5 is possible here. But g4 also. Okay. I have a new weapon against the Caro-Kann. Thanks to whoever mentioned that earlier, that Witty Alien has something against bishop f5 too. That took me down the rabbit hole. All right, let's do another. I've only played 2 games so far at this tournament. 2 out of 2. No longer in the top 100. Yeah, now I want to face another Caro-Kann. Have to keep in mind the other gambits I was thinking about earlier. Tennyson, Magnuson, Vienna. Also Halloween. Halloween is coming up in a couple weeks. Okay, I'm white again. Going for e4. Oh, we have a Caro-Kann. Okay, I'm so excited. d5? Should I play knight d2 in true style of Witty Alien? Is my opponent watching the stream? Is that why they played Caro-Kann? They know I'm about to play something really dubious. Okay, knight d2. Yeah, it should transpose. Okay. Okay. We don't see bishop f5, but we'll still have what will probably be an alien gambit. If black doesn't play h6, then I won't be provoked to sack the piece. Yeah, bishop f5. Knight will just stay here until this is played, and then I can chuck the knight at my opponent. Wow. This might already be like really good for white. Because after knight e5, I'm hitting f7 twice. Only way for black to defend is bishop g6. And can I take on... Or can I start with bishop d3, threatening to take on g6? The only thing to calculate is queen takes d4. But I don't think that works because of tactics. I can either take on f7 or even take on g6 and then take on f7. Yeah, I think this is working out really nicely. Yeah, I can go for dubious openings and still have instructive games. Hopefully people are learning a thing or two of how to be aggressive. Yeah, this might just be completely winning for white already. After 8 moves. Usually Caro-Kann is quite solid. Yeah, this almost saves black, queen takes g4. I do have a choice now. I mean, I want to set up some bishop check discovery to win the queen. Of course, I have to address the threat of this move, queen takes e5. So I'm mainly debating between takes. Let's calculate. Takes, knight takes f7. I hit the rook. If king takes, I win the queen. Let's say the rook moves. I take on g6. That looks pretty good. And there's also knight e or knight g takes f7. And then takes. I feel like that line is less clear. Because there's rook g8. And it's still equal material. I'm not winning the queen. Yeah, I'm going to go for this. Knight takes e6 almost works. But then there's queen e5 check. But this is a very common tactical motif across a lot of different openings, where the queens are aligned, opponent's queen is undefended in the center, and the bishop is between the queens. I just want to set up a bishop check to win the queen. So if black takes on g6 with f-pawn, then I would have the check. We see bishop to b4. Wow. So I can play c3 here. And there's a line takes, bishop d2. Takes, I win the rook. And then I'm still hitting f7 twice. I do lose my bishop on d3. But I won black's bishop, so I'm going to be up a rook for 3 pawns. But that should be very good for white. Queen e2 likely coming. Or just knight takes f7. Did Witty Alien beat Gotham Chess? Can't recall seeing the game. But if he did, it's probably on YouTube somewhere. I'm not sure what to expect from black. Black would maybe like to castle queenside eventually, but if I get to take on f7, I prevent castling queenside. If h6, I'm going to say maybe I take with this knight. So there's a choice here. Like after this, h6.
The best deal on the internet.
Oh, thank you, C. Gluck. I'm thinking it makes more sense to take with this knight. As weird as it looks. I could also delay the decision, play queen e2. But then I allow castling. Here. Ah, maybe this work. I mean, everything should be good for white. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards knight g takes f7. And queen e2 likely next. If queen e4, queen e2, queen takes g2, then I take. But then king f8. That might get a little bit weird. Or queen e4, there's also king f1. I want to fork, but I'm in check. I think queen e2 is actually too risky, because after takes here, my rook's hanging, rook e8 is coming. King f1 just looks safer. Also bishop e3. Let's say bishop e3 takes. Let's just save the pawn. Eventually I'll try and use the e-file. Or the question from Ha Luang. If you have emotes of all pieces and squares, do you still allow the emotes only mode on Title Tuesday? That would be... That would probably be against the rules to enable chat assistance like that. It probably wouldn't help. People in chat would probably just be suggesting not the best moves. But yeah, I'm not gonna take the risk. And usually when I play Title Tuesday, I don't look at chat. On top of it being in emote only mode. Okay, let's fork. But yeah, if any streamer attempted to do that, then maybe they would impose more restrictions. We do have the G5 emote. It's one of the few emotes that's a chess move. We also have the fork knight emote, which describes what I just did. If pawn c5, I play queen d5, attacking all the things. Some things are defended, but other things are not defended. Thank you to Skyripper. First time sub. I could check this way or this way. I'll win the rook. Welcome back to Andrew. Yeah, I did hear about the current chess drama. I haven't actually looked at the article about it, but I did hear about it. Okay, pretty smooth game. Didn't need to sacrifice anything that game. I was prepared to play the alien gambit after h6 knight f7, but my opponent kind of just fell victim to this quick attack on f7. And then I just want to check this position. Yeah, knight g6 is what I played. I don't think I made the realization that it's the only winning move. I acknowledge the other line with taking on f7, but yeah, that's actually totally fine for black. I made one inaccuracy. I assume knight g5. Yeah. Going for the alien gambit. All right, I'm going to take a break. I'll be back momentarily. In the meantime, maybe I can load up the US Championships. Hans Niemann's game is pretty solid. This looks like the sharpest game. Okay, this will be my break scene. I'll be back in a few moments. Did the replay just finish? Super sharp position. I mean, both players are actually very sharp tactical players, so maybe it's not surprising. Dog just walked into the room, but now she just left. Maybe at some point she'll say hi. Anyway, let's hop back into the tournament. I've played 3 games so far. I'm trying to get back to 2700 rapid. It's a very slow, gradual climb. I'm top 50 on Lichess. Actually, 27th on Lichess. Okay, I'm going to turn off pentatonic. It can make me sleepy. What opening to play? I'll play Sicilian. Maybe I'll play an O'Kelly. Played this not too long ago. Although with c4, yeah, c4 calls for knight c6. And then I'll look to exploit the square. I'm actually wondering, how do I best exploit the square? Maybe e6 first. There is a line e6, knight f3, and then knight d4. Some theory. I'll go for this. Yeah, White's just kind of doing their thing. Maybe they're going to play a Boffinic setup. The so-called Boffinic English. I'll go for knight e7 or g6. Maybe g6 now. I want to employ a setup which controls d4, but also goes for like good piece harmony. Wow, White's playing very, very exotically. h4, maybe going for h5. I could play h5 myself. I could also play d5. Just to try and strike in the center. d5, h5. Let's say takes. h6. Take. I think it's okay. There is this general rule in chess, is when the opponent plays on a flank, you usually want to look to respond in the center. And I'm a bit more developed already, so if the center opens up, it should favor black. Especially now with bishop g4 coming. White still playing on the king side. Yeah, if white gets an h6, it is mildly annoying. Because bishop f6, e5 traps the bishop. If I take, there's knight takes. But then knight f5. And knight f5 does control h6. There might be g4 in that line. I'm also calculating bishop g4, h6, takes. Ah, that sound came from the other tab. Did people hear that? Let me close the tab. Bishop g4, h6, takes. I could castle queenside with check. I'll have conceded the bishop pair, but I'll have the d file. I have knight d4 coming. That looks good enough. Thought it was my doorbell. Okay, yeah, maybe it was like a soft ring. And there's bishop d4 as well, but then bishop e2. I think I'd rather go for the forcing line. Oh, wait a minute. I thought I had knight d4, but it's a pawn on c3. This might change things. I think I still want to go for the queen trade. I might not be like so much better. Hmm. Yeah, I'm still gonna go for the queen trade. There's something funny I want to do, but I don't know how good it actually is. Um, like castling queenside is probably the most natural here, but then king c2. I was just looking at f5, e5, knight d5, but then again king c2. I play a6. Like a6, b5. Bishop e3 is coming. At some point, I'm going to have to move much faster. Wait, okay, so castle, king c2, f5, e5, knight e5. Maybe that's the way to go. Yeah, I was thinking the position is ripe for a castle fork. If I bait white to take on b7, I castle, hit the rook, hit the king. But it's not happening. Yeah, I'm going for f5. This is committal. But I'm trying to get control over the square for the knight. In some sense, I trap in my own bishop. But white can't really exploit the bishop here. At some point, I might trade. There's another resource I should consider at some point is g5. Although not right now. White wants to fork me. Do I have bishop d1 check? Bishop d1 feels close to working in some lines. Like knight b6, knight f7, bishop d1. I don't think it really works though. So I might start with this move. And then bishop c4. I might just be worse here. I didn't see too many other options. Bishop c4, I could play knight c7 and then prepare b5. Also guard e6. I think I have to do that. It's not pretty. Down a lot of time. And the nice thing is that it's hard for white to contest a d-file. Bishop controls d1. But white's doing other things. I have to play this. And b5 is now a pretty big threat. I mean, maybe white has this, and then eventually this. I think that's okay. Okay, so now b5. It's committal. I mean, bishop c5 might come pretty soon. But what is white doing? Because if bishop takes c5, I take. I have two pieces for rook and pawn. Yeah, that's still a mess. If the bishop retreats, bishop d3, I have c4. Bishop f1 looks ugly. Bishop b3, I trap the bishop. We might see this move. And I think the whole game is going to revolve around e6 pawn. I really got to keep the tempo. Maybe I can plant the bishop on d3 and completely block the d-file. White still has this kind of annoying idea. Okay, g3 is a good sign. So bishop e2. I like bishop e2 because now it still prevents rook d1. It also prevents rook b1 because bishop d3. And once the bishop gets to d3, then white can't really make use of the b or d files. Those are the only two open files on the board. Yeah, knight f7, rook f8. I think everything is under control now. Rook b8 is coming. Like, the minor pieces are just going to be better than white's things. I'm pretty sure I was in trouble at some point in this game, like after the queen trade. Okay, now c3 is going to fall. If king a3 I take and I threaten mate in 1. Or actually, just king a3, rook b3, it's mate in 2. Yeah, maybe the other knight can come in. I kind of forgot this pawn was hanging, but I do have rook h8. And I'll win h6. If I get my rook to c2, it's checkmate. 2 moves away. Now 1 move away. I think it's already forced mate. Okay. Yeah, interesting game. White played what probably should be a dubious opening, but maybe I didn't handle it so well. I was happy with this sequence, like d5, we trade, bishop g4. Wow, so the engine likes castling here, which didn't cross my mind. It feels weird to walk into this pawn storm. But I guess one point is if h6, the bishop has h8. I don't have to go into the center. And this was kind of based on a miscalculation. Like I thought I'm going to have knight d4 at some point, forgetting the pawn lands on c3. But I wasn't... Okay, I was worse after knight g5. I was doing fine here, but okay, black has to take, get rid of the knight, and then have 2 knights against 2 bishops. But the knights are actually quite nice in the position. Pawn structure is pretty much fixed. Are you drinking H3O? This is coconut water. I don't know what H3O is, but it's H2O of a coconut. Nice and refreshing. Okay, let's do one more. 50th place. Played 4 games so far. Can you try the hippopotamus defense, please? Maybe. If I'm black, maybe I'll play hippo. If I'm white, there's more active, aggressive things to play. Okay, playing Dr. Schultz. No hippo, because I'm white. I'll play e4. Maybe we can get another fun gambit. Of course, depending what black plays. e5. You know what month it is. It's October. And you know the holiday is in a few weeks. 2.5 weeks from now is Halloween. Does my opponent want a Stafford Gambit? I just don't want to go into like a normal Petrov. I'm going to play Knight c3. Tuzijin asking for Ponziani, but you can't play Ponziani against a Petrov. c3 just loses the pawn. Okay, now we're just in non-Halloween territory. Wait, this is a free pawn though. Oh, my opponent's still trying to play a Stafford. Okay, I'll take. Are they going to play Knight c6? They want a Stafford Gambit. I played this against Carlsen way back when. I think Carlsen played this. I played d5. After take, you take and play like c3, d4. There's also takes in h3. Okay, I'll go into a Stafford, h3. Refutation time. Hey, thank you, Maradowski.
Stafford
Getting
box.
merch. I appreciate that. Got the hat. Looks like got some other merch too. We see h5. So there is a nasty trap here that if I try and be safe with bishop e2, there's queen d4 castling knight g4. I did trap a grandmaster in this line recently in Title Tuesday. I think the safest approach is just pawn d3. I blocked the bishop in, but I'm up a pawn, want to be safe. Bishop g5 maybe at some points will come. Yeah, I'm realizing that like if I took on e5 first and my opponent went for a Stafford, then I could have transposed into Halloween. But then bishop c5 is still possible and we could transpose back into a Stafford. I came into this game thinking I would be the one who gambits. But my opponent has other ideas. Now I'm the one who accepts gambits. Yeah, it's true that bishop f2 is sometimes a concern for white, but in this position it's totally fine. Because I'm reinforcing e4, so knight takes e4, knight takes e4.
Thank you for being so nice all the time, most of the time.
Most of the time. Thank you, Cavo Greco. I appreciate your words. I probably shouldn't overthink this. Queen f3 is usually a decent move. That way I activate the queen before developing my bishop. And bishop g5 will apply more pressure. Also bishop e3 is better supported. Oh, happy 69 months to Capo Greco. Long time sub. I should keep in mind e5 too. Just simply pushing the pawn to attack the knight. And the thing about these sort of Stafford positions is black is a little bit ahead in development, so sometimes it does require a bit more patience from white to complete development. I also have the idea of g3, bishop g2. And be super solid on the king side. But my opponent's taking their sweet, sweet time. Usually when I'm black, I like to go for castling queen side, bishop d4, try and attack eventually on the queen side.
Let's sack the queen for content.
Just kidding. No queen takes f7 just yet. A single sub is not enough to bribe me. But thank you, Falling Deep, for the 8 months. I think bishop f4 is very reasonable here. Nice active square. I did see some people were discussing bishop g4, which is interesting, but I could take, and then take with check, and that would really backfire for black. So we see f6. I might have queen g3 here if I want to win more material. This attacks g7 and c7. I don't want to be overly greedy. But queen g3, queen e7, bishop takes e7. Is there any concern? h4, queen h2, g5. My bishop might get a little bit stuck there. It's probably fine. I'm also thinking just castling like right away makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to castle. I'm setting up d4. Yeah, in this case, I'm just prioritizing king safety, more development rather than going after more material. Okay, knight e5. So trade. Queen g3 hits both pawns. Queen f6 defends both pawns. I don't think that's anything special. And queen g3 is some alternative. Queen g3, h4, queen h2. Or even queen g7. Yeah, let's go for queen g3. So I'm threatening to take on e5. If takes, it's a triple attack. c5, e6, and g7 would all be undefended. And if black plays h4 here, then it's tempting to take on g7. It's probably good. Like rook g8, queen h7. I might lose f2. There might be cases where I get in bishop e2 to h5. There's a question, why not queen g3? I assume that refers to the previous position. Again, I was more focused on getting my king and rook to a happier place. And I was calculating the lines where like I take on c7, but then my bishop got stuck. So I can show it in more detail after the game. I should still keep in mind this resource, d4. Like a temporary pawn sack, but then there's a pin. If bishop d4, I might go for knight d2. Or I might just take the pawn. Okay, so here, this is this tricky? Maybe it's not so tricky. I have a choice. There is a line like queen takes g7, knight takes d3. Take with check. Somewhat of a trade. I think that's fine for me. I could start with d4. Also looks fine. Although d4, g5. Ah, but then I take with bishop. Takes, and there's a pin. Okay, I'm going to go for pawn d4. I'm trying to show no mercy here. Yeah, knight d3 right away is not a threat. If the queen were on c7, then it would maybe be more of an idea. Maybe black will try and throw in this move. But this is looking better and better for white. There's a question from Kagatao. Would you advise lots of tactics or heavy opening theory or middle games to improve? I think generally it's good to have a balance. between different aspects of chess. At lower levels, opening theory is not as important as other areas like middle game strategy and tactics. Pawn h4. Okay, if I take on g7, knight d3, I take. I'm just wanting to make sure my queen doesn't get trapped. I don't think it does. There is king b1, kind of a funny looking move. But the knight's takeable 3 different ways. The point of king b1 is a rook's attacked, but then still there's rook g8. So I'll probably take with. And bishop is most natural, but taking with rook actually keeps these pawns defended. I'm going to take with rook. So now white's up 2 pawns. I have yet to sack the queen for content. But maybe it's not too late. Hey, it's Rasabas.
Ever since the Lions stopped playing Stafford, they became Super Bowl contenders.
Ahaha.
Ever since I started playing the Stafford, my chess is more fun.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the sacrifices we make.
And also the sacrifices we accept. Welcome back, Rasabas. Hope you're doing well. Stafford is like the name of a football player, right? I don't follow football too closely, but I think that's the case. I have to play queen h7. It's only safe queen move. I'd rather sack my queen for more than just a rook. Oh, Matt Stafford was a quarterback. Yeah, I can barely name any football players. Walter Payton.
Matthew Stafford is the QB of the Rams, formerly of St. Louis. It's good to be back.
Oh. Happy 32 months, Rasabas. I did meet one professional. I actually met a few professional football players. John Urschel, probably the most notable, like former NFL, also avid chess player, and like math PhD. Really interesting person. I also met Lawrence Maroney. I think that's his name. Running back for the New England Patriots. He came to St. Louis in 2010 as a 2-year anniversary of the St. Louis Chess Club. And he was actually my teammate for this tennis exhibition. We played tennis against Ben Feingold and Lindsay Davenport on the street, like right outside the chess club. Thankfully, we didn't play football, avoiding getting tackled. Wait, if I trade queens, I can't sack my queen. Okay, let's avoid the queen trade. Oh yeah, football has a different meaning in America compared to the meaning in Europe. Okay, I'm sacking back. Do I want to sack back a pawn? I'm going to start with rook d1. I am already sensing ideas of Anastasia's mate. Oh, I sack a rook. Oops. Wait, I have queen f5 though. And then rook here. So I don't think I'm actually losing the rook. Okay, now queen a5. I'm just tickling the queen side a little bit. I could take on a7. I don't think I'm going to be sacking my queen this game. The queen is going to be used for mating. If rook d7, it's mate in 1. There is f5. Now take. Black avoids getting mated. Okay, now the goal is to win the game before the opponent flags. Might be hard to do. The a3. Making some Luft. And this game's going the full distance. Where's my mate? I was going to say king h5, g4 is almost mate, but then there's en passant. What to do? I sacked my opponent's queen. Yeah. Thank you, Bracken Dawson. Okay. Let me pause the tournament. Played 5 games. 54 minutes left. I think that was a pretty clean game overall. Let's see if I made any mistakes. I made 3 inaccuracies. Oh, f4. F4 is like a weird engine move. Sack a pawn and then carry through with more engine lines. It's still f4. Thank you. It's Mr. Clark. First time prime. Hey, there's a question from Tickle Attack, which I kind of did on the queen side. Tickle attacking the a7 pawn. Question is, why didn't you check bishop h5 after queen e7? Ah, here. I'm not sure if I considered it. I think my thought process was I didn't want to trade queens. So bishop h5, I think, leads to the queen trade. Because then my queen has no escape. It's still good for white. Like up 2 pawns, it's usually good to simplify, but I wanted to keep more attacking options available. Red Alert says you missed 1 trick. If you had not done d4, you could have pinned the bishop and saved your bishop. Not sure what that refers to. Oh, I see what you mean. If I don't play d4. Like if I play, let's say this, then, well, knight d3 doesn't work for multiple reasons. But in this line, I don't know if it actually works. Like takes, oh, maybe I should have taken on g7. Takes, so the idea would be after takes, the bishop's pinned. Black could take with check, but then the queen and rook are hanging. So this would be nice for white. I guess the engine still prefers e4. Yeah, there's just so many things that go in white's favor. Okay, I'm probably going to wrap things up like decently soon. Yeah, I'm pausing the tournament. I I sometimes play the whole thing, but I don't want to like burn myself out. And I have some YouTube content to work on. So had a nice mix of fun games. I played some gambits myself. Had that one or the couple like super aggressive lines against Caro-Kann. And then also facing the Stafford. So I do appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks to everyone who resubbed, all the good vibes. And I'll probably be back tomorrow for Title Tuesday.